This video is about the basics of how your SLR camera works. If you have your own SLR, then grab it and follow along. If it's a film camera, make sure there is no film in it. Here I have both a film and a digital SLR. Both of them work in much the same way. Cameras work by gathering light and controlling how it hits either film or a digital sensor. The light first enters through the lens. The job of the lens is to bend the light to make an image, which is then projected into the camera. You can remove the lens of your camera by finding the release button and gently turning the lens. The location of the release button and the direction you turn the lens will be different based on which camera you have. We can demonstrate how the lens works by using just the lens and an LED flashlight. When I shine the flashlight through the lens, you can see an image of the 8 LEDs of the flashlight being projected onto the paper. But instead of projecting onto paper, the lens normally projects this image into the camera. If we look inside the camera right behind where the lens goes, we see a mirror set at a 45-degree angle. The projected image from the lens is bounced off this mirror and up into what is called a pentaprism. The light of the image bounces around this prism and eventually comes out the viewfinder so we can see what our picture will look like. When we want to take a picture, we push the shutter button, sometimes called the release button. When this happens, the mirror is lifted out of the way and the shutter behind it opens. This allows the projected image from the lens to land on the film or digital sensor and create our photograph. Here we can see the mirror up, the shutter open, and the film exposed. If you already have film in your camera, don't do this part of the demo. Shining light onto the film in your camera like this will ruin all or part of it. Here we can see the mirror up, the shutter open, and the digital sensor exposed. The camera has many different settings that allow us to control the light that lands on the film or sensor, giving us the photograph we want. The two main settings of any SLR camera are the aperture size and the shutter speed. The aperture is an iris inside the lens, and its different settings are referred to as f-stops. The aperture works just like the iris of your eye. It can be made small to let in a little light, or made larger to let in more light. You can control the size of your aperture by choosing an f-stop number on your camera. This is a number with an F in front of it. If you choose a smaller f-stop number like 2, the aperture will be bigger and let in more light. If you choose a larger f-stop number like 22, the aperture will be smaller and let in less light. If you look at the bottom of your lens, you will find a small lever that moves back and forth. This is how your camera controls the size of the aperture when it takes a picture. The second main setting on your camera is the shutter speed. The shutter is a door that sits between the film or sensor and the mirror. We can open the back of this older camera and see the shutter in front of the film. Most shutter speeds are in fractions of a second, and you decide how long that door stays open while taking a picture. The longer it stays open, the more light lands on the film or sensor. Here I have my shutter speed set to 1 full second, so when I press the shutter release button, the shutter will remain open for a full second. When I set it to 1/2 of a second and push the shutter release button, then the shutter only remains open for half a second. By controlling both the aperture size and shutter speed, we can control how much light lands in our film or digital sensor, giving us the photograph we want. Your assignment for this video, if you haven't done this already, is to grab your own SLR camera and repeat what I've done in this video. Also, take some time to play around with your camera's different settings and see what they do.